All right. So, hi everybody, this is Adriel William, and we are doing our Q&A session, and this is September 7th of 2025. So, guys, before I start speaking, is there anybody has a question that they would like to ask? I know some of you guys might have to leave. If somebody wants to unmute and ask questions, you're more than welcome.
Hello, doctor. This is Ramneet.
Let's talk. How you doing?
I'm good, doc. Um, I actually wanted to ask, I applied this year to several schools, but my GPA is really low, and
What's
uh,
your overall What's your overall profile, doc?
um, so I completed my dentistry in 2017
Mhm.
from India, and then after that, I worked in a civil hospital in Punjab,
For how long?
2 years.
And then you came to US after that.
After that, I did the dental assistant job. Like I also did the volunteership in Brooklyn Hospital. That's just kind a big hospital,
Uh-huh.
and
Then
I
then
just I just did dental assisting. Then I cleared my exam.
since how long you've been working as a DA?
Um, it's been 2 years, 2.5.
And which state do you live in, Doc?
New York,
And where do you live in New York? Albany?
um, New York, Long Island.
Okay, so you're next to the city. So
Yes,
if you and how much is your TOEFL?
TOEFL is 95, but I'm
So
trying to
Doc,
prove it.
you're worried about GPA?
Yes,
Okay. Imagine if my car's radio is not working and I have a flat tire and I'm
yes.
saying to my friend, oh, I can't reach to my friend's house because my radio is not working. What will you say to me?
You should fix your
I
tire.
know. So yes, here's the answer. You should fix your TOEFL first.
Okay, doc.
See,
Got it.
this is I'm not gonna pick on you. I'm just saying this to everybody. I'm gonna tell all of you guys a thing. Hi Shamir, thank you for joining, buddy. So I'm gonna have if you guys have UOP questions, I'm gonna ask him, and he gone through the process. He and I got accepted at the same time when I was going to UC. Well, we had a couple of interviews together as well at UCLA and stuff. But he ended up going to UOP. I ended up going to CU. But I'm gonna have him chime in too when he wants to speak. But uh, just to just taking your example, Doc, what you asked our brain, and this happens to me too. I would rather think about the things that are not in my control and avoid the things that are in my control. Imagine,
Got it.
I'm not talking about you, Doc. I'm just giving a
It's
journal,
okay. It's okay, doc.
everybody. So
Yes.
imagine if I smoke every day, all right? If I smoke and I'm worried about, oh, my health is not getting better because the pollution in Lahore or Delhi is very bad. What will you say? You will be say like you don't want to fix the thing that's right in front of you, but you want to worry about the things that are beyond your control. So
Yes.
this
Yes.
is the typical. This is one thing I've been trying to make videos, and I try to fight it in myself too. Is every day when I wake up, there might be 10 things overwhelming me, and I'm trying to figure out which one thing will give me the most profit, give me the most benefit, give me the most result. Because as a human, I can't do 10 things. And if I try to do it, I'm going to burn myself out. And just so for everybody, guys, everybody who's trying to improve, who's trying to fix something, you can't fix 10 things at a time and your brain will go in panic mode. So if I
Yes.
was you, I would try to pick one problem at a time and work on that. Does that
Okay.
make sense to rest
I,
of you guys too? Right.
doc,
Okay.
I'm working on my TOEFL. I'm
So
studying
do
on my
that
TOEFL.
on number one. If I was you, I might look into get becoming a hygienist in Florida. If you can travel, I know with the family and stuff, it might be difficult. I think that's the cheapest route to make
Uh,
your profile better. If you
uh,
can't, maybe looking into a master's program. But all of this is secondary. Number one,
yes.
your TOEFL. So
And
with 95, you're standing at the tail end of the line.
Yes. And Doc, there is also a advanced program like of hygiene 1 year in NYU. You have to say
If
about
you
that?
have the money, do it. It's expensive. If you have the money, do it.
Yes, like it's just one.
Again, again, doc, I'm saying if you have the money, it's not bad. It's just expensive. I don't know how financially you are. I don't know your situations. I don't know your
Yes.
bank
Yes.
account. So I'm giving generalized answer as of now because I don't
Yes.
want to give you something that you can't later on you will regret because you got
Yes.
into student loan. So you have to figure out if you can afford do it.
And but the only thing is like their score is also like 100 above. The students they accept NYU is
So
only we have
doc,
to.
you're asking me questions whose answer you already know yourself.
Yes, 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 Doc. I got you.
You know how to, you pretty much have everything already figured out as far as I can hear you. Is just you want somebody else to tell you what to do. I'm just telling you, you have the answer. Just whatever your heart is
All
telling you,
right.
follow it.
Question
Just
and
Okay.
answer.
Thank you, Doc.
fix
Thank
what
you.
you can. All right.
Yes, yes.
All right. Okay, doc. Let's see who else has a question. Shamir, if you want to unmute and say something, if you feel like there's any space spot, you can. You're more than welcome.
Hello. First of all, hello. Thank you so much, Adriel, and hello, everyone. I would first like to congratulate you guys, because you have made so far. Most of you have interviews, like almost all of you, and you have prepared the application. You have gone through the Caapid process. I think you guys are in the right direction. Only some matter of persistence and just keep doing
So,
the good work, guys.
so Shamir, since you're here, I want to make the best out of your time. Is anybody, and I'll get to other people too, want to ask question about UOP? If you want to, right now is the best time because I have somebody who's alumni of UOP who have been there for about more than 2 years. He spent there, so he knows UOP inside out better than I do. If anybody wants to ask, and even if you don't get an invite but you're interested to go into UOP and you want to ask question, kindly unmute and ask because his time is precious. I don't want to keep him holding.
Hello, I want to ask about UOP.
Yes, what do you want to ask, doc?
Yeah,
Just go ahead.
Doc, my name is Janvi, and this is my second cycle applying, and I am living in California, like San Francisco Bay Area. So UOP is my choice, but I mean, I don't know what to improve in my profile to
What's your
get
overall
dentist.
profile?
So I did dentistry from India, and I graduated in 2020. After
Mhm,
that, I worked in India for a year. Then I moved here. I did my master's in public health from Florida.
mhm.
Then I worked as a dental assistant in Florida for 1 year, and currently I'm working as pediatric dental assistant
Mhm.
in California. My TOEFL score is 100, GPA is 3.6. I'm also volunteering at Red Cross and one of the dental
So,
NGO.
Doc, quick
And
question. Why, if you don't mind me asking, your family
Mhm.
moved from Florida to California? That's why you
No,
moved?
I got married and then moved to California.
Yeah, so family reason.
Yeah.
So, Doc, and he will, if you're focusing on UOP, he will tell you more.
Mm-hmm.
Just a generalized thing. So it's very good that you did dentistry, then you did masters. Now, man, if you studied for 2 years in a master's program where you had to write papers, assignment, your
Mm-hmm.
TOEFL is not adding up to it. I'm
Yes.
just like, if somebody has spent 2 years in a university in the United States,
Mm-hmm.
think your TOEFL should add up to it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Anybody
Yes.
in India or Pakistan or
Uh-huh.
Bangladesh can score above 100 or 100. So
Agree.
you who have studied in US and worked in US, from you they prefer it to be better. So that would be number one area. The
Okay.
second thing is, if you're in California, you want to be taking some preceptorships, you should try to attempt to be part of more, like give kids a smile, some organization
Mm-hmm.
that. And if you're focusing on UOP, you can ask Dr. Shamira, I'll let you speak, please. And this, somebody asked, could you please give some tips on how to prepare for UOP interview? So
Okay.
Shamir,
Thank you.
yes.
Okay. So, first of all, Janvi, thank you for telling us about your profile. And I think living in the Bay Area, that makes you a very good candidate for UOP. I do have seen a pattern. They do prefer people that are from around there, or those are from like California. So one of the things, especially being from India, obviously the pool is slightly more competitive, but I think you have masters, which helps your case. I would again circle back to the part Adriel mentioned about your TOEFL because when you go as a candidate for UOP, you compete against most of the other people from your country who have masters
Mm-hmm.
and who have clinical experience and who have passed the INBD or NBD 1 or 2, which was the former exam. So what makes you different? Everything counts. Your TOEFL being
Okay.
100 and someone being at slightly higher than you wouldn't matter, I would say. Now coming to the part, I think you are a very good candidate for UOP. They do prefer people who are from around there and who don't actually have to move all the way.
Mm-hmm.
Second, I my advice would be I do have seen people who are from there, even if they are not selected in the first go, they are waitlisted.
Mm-hmm.
And UP's waitlist go all the way up to like till the start of the program. I had a classmate, she got accepted like week or 2 weeks before the start of the program. So I think you're in a good shape. Just right now, I don't think you have enough time for the TOEFL if I'm not wrong, but I think
Mm-hmm.
you should more focus on your interview and whatever you have
Oh, she
done,
doesn't have an
masters.
invite. She doesn't have an invite right now.
She doesn't have an
No,
invite. Okay,
yeah.
but hopefully next year you will be a good candidate. And if in the meantime, if you can improve TOEFL, that would be something good. You are working in a pediatric clinic as a DA. You are working with other Red Cross. I think you should add all of that to your resume. I think that will help your application.
And I
Okay.
think if you still have contacts to live and
Uh-huh.
visit Florida, get the hygiene license. Even you can't practice, if you
Mm-hmm.
have the contacts, get the license. At least you can put it in the resume. And if you, some people I'm again seen who traveled, well, California to Florida is a crazy flight or just quite far away. But some people I've seen go once a month and go and work as a hygienist just to put it in their application. The other
Oh.
thing is do more preceptorships, attend the big conferences that happen in California, find C courses in USC, UOP,
Mm-hmm.
wherever these institutions are, they do C courses, so attend those. These are some of the things. Be
Yeah.
involved in Mission of Mercy, RAM, like you want to be affiliated to big tax and your
Mm-hmm.
people matters. All right, Doc? Does this
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Sure thing, Doc. So, Doc, Shamir, somebody asked, like, could you please give me some tips on how to prepare for UOP interview?
So I always advise whenever you go for the interview, it also like it is one of the factor who is interviewing you. Either it's a clinical faculty, it's an admin faculty. So for the interview, mostly the thing they would ask you is from your resume, and make sure your answers are concise, they're crispy, and to the point. Because after I think first couple of questions, all of the questions they would ask you, they do take it out from your answers.
So,
So be
Shamir,
very
what
careful.
were the kind of questions they asked you? Do you remember back from back then? What did they ask you? And how many people
So
were there? Two or one?
oh, it's just one faculty interviewing you. I do remember Dr. C interviewed me. It was 2021, but so he started by asking like what you did. That was from my resume about my clinical experience. That's how the interview started. Then I a little bit told him about UOP, like about the program. I saw from one of my senior, and then it
Wait,
directed
slow
towards
down. But, sorry, Doc. I think I paced you up. But can you tell the questions again? Sorry.
yeah. So initially, like I would say, my interview started with just the question about my clinical experience. So he asked me about you worked there, how was your experience? You worked on in this hospital, how was the experience? What you want to do ahead, like in the future? And then I told him a little bit about those experiences, and then I started telling him about the program. Why like UP is one of my talk to a school which I want to be in. So it was I you mentioned about my senior. I heard a few things about UOP from him. So that's then conversation went on in that direction. So
So,
most of the yeah,
good.
go on. So most of the questions he asked me after that were from what I was telling you. Okay, you
So,
heard this.
how many minutes was it?
This actually allocated to me 20 minutes slot, but it went I think
Okay.
around 30 to 40 minutes. It was a little bit longer than that.
Okay. Yeah, you speak a lot. I'm joking, buddy. Sorry. Okay. All right. We are friends too. So we just crack jokes at everybody, each another. But so coming back to it, Doc. So here's a question. So, Dr. Ishwarya, so I can tell you one thing from my experience. If you are preparing for interview for UOP, the way I would do it is, first of all, you should have a very good answer. If somebody asks you, tell me about yourself. You should start from, I grew up in, most probably your name, from your name, you grew up in India. So correct me if I'm wrong, but you would most probably, if I would start, I would say I've been fortunate that I grew up in Lahore, Pakistan, and I grew up in a family where education was an important part. And one thing led to another. I was fortunate to get accepted to a really good dental school, where not only did I get to learn about restorative pros, but also surgery. And that inspired me to go into a residency after passing a very competitive exam. And after that, I wanted to explore more. So in 2016, I quit my residency and moved to US, and I did a master's. And after that, I worked for 2 years. And then I've been applying to dental schools, and I look forward to learning at your institution. Or I like to, in my free time, play basketball and do gym, something like that. So this, I'm sorry if I'm a little bit fast paced right now, but I want to take more questions. But you will have a recording, so you can go back and watch it. So the tell me about yourself, Dr. Ashwarya, you need to have a very good tell me about yourself for any interview. Then you guys need to prepare question like, tell me about a strength, tell me about a weakness in your personality, tell me how do you manage failures, how do you manage stress, what's your long-term plan, why do you want to come to UOP, why should we pick you as a candidate, why do you think you're a good team player, how do you manage stress, and tell us about a leadership role. Now, Dr. Shamir, what he said were the questions were different. But if you have prepared your answers for these 8 to 9 questions, if you have created stories, you will be able to answer pretty much 95% of any interview questions. Does that make sense, guys? I'm sorry if I just spilled a lot of beans right in front of you. But Dr. Ishwarya, does this make sense what I said?
Yes, doctor. I got a good idea about it. Yes, thank you.
Yes. So they
Uh,
yes, Doc.
I would add two things, especially what Adriel said. It's very important. If they ask you, just tell me about yourself, that means they couldn't connect something like fully with your resume where they could go ahead. That could be one scenario as well. So when they do ask, tell me about yourself, like Adriel mentioned, you don't have to tell what you have written in your resume. Like just tell about the city where you grew up, about a little bit about your family, something that's outside your personal statement, but that's equally kind of engaging.
So
They should connect.
what he's saying, do not repeat your resume and say, I have 3.3 GPA and I got distinction in oral medicine and I to do community work and I came to US and I worked as a dental assistant and did research in Harvard. Don't say that. Tell them a personal side of your personality. Some of you might have experienced health issues. Some people had difficulty with marriages or childbirth or health issues, or God knows, like had their parents died or grandparents died. So you can talk about those things a little bit in your personal like in your interview, to show your human side. I tell and I'll come to people who are raising hand. Just to finish this, remember, I tell people, especially all the dentists I prepared, interviews are not an exam, it's a conversation. And the most silliest example, but it makes sense. If you guys are married, some of you will know when the in India, Pakistan subcontinent, the people you're gonna marry, their family comes to your house, the Rishta people. And obviously, when they come to your house, you don't tell them everything in detail about your family, how you have a crazy auntie or a crazy uncle in the family. You only tell them things that look good on the face. You only have a designated hour with them. So when you're going in for an interview, present your personal side and your professional side in a way that makes you look good. Do not go into detail that can create trouble. That can sometimes people would make it a therapy session. The other thing is, interviews are based over likability. If you like somebody, how they speak, the energy they have, the way they look, you will have a human bias towards them. If you gone to a Target store or a Walmart, you will end up buying expensive things at the Target because they usually have better looking employees. This is a policy of Target. This is a policy in the marketing. In Apple, they try to make sure they know that when people are more attractive in personality, they get advantage. In the same way, in the interview, when you're talking to other people, the way you carry yourself, and I'm not saying in a negative way, but if you're competent and you're confident and you can connect with other people, your chances of being accepted is higher. Does that make sense, guys? I'm sorry, I know I'm going on a very fast pace, but just to make the best out of time, does that make sense a little bit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, doctor.
Okay, Dr. Sukriti, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Sorry.
It's okay, doctor. So, doctor, my name is Sukriti. I did my BDS from India in 2020. This was my third cycle that I applied to, but still didn't get any acceptance. I did practice in India for 8 months, and then I came to Canada to pursue healthcare administration and did dental assisting as a treatment coordinator, both interchangeable roles. And I have like 3 papers in my TOEFL 109.
Okay, so how much is your dental assisting officially in your resume?
Almost 4 years, like 3.5 years.
How many schools did you apply?
I applied to 9 schools this year.
Okay.
10 schools last
And
year.
here's the thing. When you're applying in your resume, are you writing 4 years of treatment coordinator or 4 year of DA-ship?
Dental assisting.
Doc, your profile is pretty good. I don't know what's going on up here. There are a couple of things I will suggest you. You need to get feedback from schools, number one. Number two, look for conferences, look for opportunities to visit US, take preceptorship, get your name to them before the admission cycle. The problem is somebody like you might have a pretty good profile, but when you apply, understand if right now, I'm sorry, but I'm just giving an example. There are 53 people, right? If somebody I know already or I have talked to them, there are a couple of people like Puneet up here, Dr. Rosina, there are people that I've already talked to in the past. I know them, right? Now, when they show up, I already remember them. Imagine in Caapid cycle, 1,700 students are applying, and majority of them are Indian and majority of them are female. What happens, your name can be overlooked. You might have a very good profile, but it got overlooked at some point. So, number one, to decrease the number of chances, try to visit these schools, try to attend their open houses, try to attend their virtual tours, try to go in for CE's preceptorship to make your name known who you are. Number one. Number two is the way your application is being presented, your personal statement, how you're writing your supplemental application might not be doing justice to your profile. Does that make sense? Because the problem that's happening now that I'm seeing, back when I was applying, there were about 5 to 6 people from Canada in my class. Now, because the number of Indian and Pakistani candidates, overall immigrants in Canada have gone so high that everybody has similar profile who is coming from Canada. And now you literally have to do more and more to become competitive. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes, doctor. But
Yes, I'm listening, Doc.
but just wanted to also ask, because this year I don't know if you remember me. I did take like a little bit like SOP review and the LOR review from you as well. So told me to correct certain things, and I did those ways. So I'm not sure like what is certain thing, like that's because this is my third cycle.
So,
So that
Doc, just remember, I'll tell all of you guys, please listen to this. I'm just going to use this opportunity. Remember, Adriel does not write futures. Adriel is not, he's as human as you are. I give suggestions on what things you can do to overall make yourself stronger. Now, there's not always one solution, and these problems are multifaceted. They don't look people on just profile or just uh, TOEFL or on just masters or just one thing or nationality. They look at them in a multifaceted way. So when I'm giving you solutions, I'm also keeping in mind that yes, you do have a good profile, but along with that, your name is somewhere not getting in front of them, which it should. Now, who's gonna make that effort? Not Adriel, not the school. You have to find ways to connect yourself to make sure they remember you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like I had a Dr. McCracken is somebody who is a program director at Dental Foundry. We both of us, I did both of us do implant training up there. We go to Alabama. Dr. Shamir goes there too. And I sat in one of his meeting where he was selecting his AGD residents. I asked him, Doc, what do you look at students when you are looking if they as potential candidates? He said, the first thing I see is how many times they came and shadowed us. How much interest are they showing us? So if you're a Canadian and you take a flight or you found an opportunity to visit their school a couple of times or got connected with them, that does make a difference. Does that make sense, Doc, what I'm saying?
Yes, doctor.
So that's
I
number
I
one
would
thing.
like to add one thing, Adriel. I do think yes, you are right. If you just write to the program coordinators before, like after you apply, before the interviews are like they send interviews out, you do visit couple of like 1 to 2 times. You go to the school, you meet the program coordinator, you just request them to give you a tour of the school. So they actually know that you're interested. And with someone your profile, if you have a same profile, you're still working as a DU or a coordinator and it's not helping, I would suggest what Adriel suggested. I think you should go for preceptorship, observership. You need to add some kind of different experience. If you are applying again and again with the same things and it's not working out, I think you should change the course of your experience. I think it would be worth if you take an attempt and try to get some US experience, whether it's like being a preceptorship in a school or something like that. I think
The
that would definitely push your application.
one of the things that's happening with a lot of Canadians right now, the problem, very severe issues I'm facing right now, and a lot of my candidates that I work with are Canadian, is that there are so many that now they treat Canadian Indians like Indians. Like
Yeah, that's
years
true.
ago, a lot of Indians would apply, and there were few Canadian Indians will apply, and they would get advantage. Now it's like majority of people who were applying from India don't apply. They first come to Canada and then apply. So the
Right.
That's right.
pool of Canadian Indian have gone up. Now you will say, Doc, what's the solution? The solution is what you're saying is becoming. When I applied, there were very few masters holder. Now everybody, after 1 or 2 years, when I talk to Colorado students, everybody up there, majority of them were having masters. So the water is going up. So what
Mm.
you need to do is you need to do more things, add more things as soon as you can to make yourself more potentially a better candidate. And on top of that, you have to go and connect at a human level. Now, how do you do it? How much finances you have, time limitation, family responsibility, that's up to you. The other thing I want to piggyback on and tell everybody, if you have working as a front desk, if you're working as a treatment coordinator, if you're working as a regional manager, office manager, please start working as a DA, and in your application mention DA rather than manager. The schools don't like managers, the school don't like treatment coordinators, the school are not impressed by regional managers. As a dentist, I'm not a big fan of managers. I would rather accept a dental assistant because most of the things that we do in school are dental assisting stuff. We are making temp crowns, we are doing mostly what. So overall, if you have the opportunity, do present yourself more as a dental assistant and less of a manager. Does that make sense to everybody else too?
Yes,
Yeah.
Um, Doctor, I have one more question to this. Let's say if we presented something in the first cycle, and let's say I put like a treatment coordinator part-time and dental assisting both, and then if I want to change it now, does that make a difference in
Yes, please, one thing I'll say kindly, everybody, please understand, do not try to make complexity in your application. I have students who will say, I went to India, I came to Canada, then I went back, then I came back, and then I came to US. It was like too much back and forth. I was like, when you write it down, the other party don't have the time to call you and ask what year did you went to Canada, what year did you came back, how much you did, when did you, they don't have time for all this detail. So make their life easy and keeps things simple. If you did 1 year of dental assisting, keep dental assisting. If you say part-time this and part-time, they will get confused. And trust me, they don't even call the office or call you to verify. They will just say confusion or not clear and just move things on the side. So these are very small things, doc, but they please make their life easier and keep things as straightforward as you can. So if there was something you done in the past which has to leave it as it is from like 2025 or 24, whatever you're doing, keep things more linear as much as you can.
Okay.
Does that make sense, Doc?
Yes, doctor. One last
Uh,
question. Like, as a reapplicant, how should this personal statement be reflected? Like, in a way that it should it be like changed overall, or should it just have additional of the information
So, Doc,
from
here's the thing, there's no right and wrong. I'm going to be bluntly honest, and I need to move forward with other people too. But just to answer you briefly, understand that persons, I've seen people with very crappy personal statement getting accepted, and I've seen people whose personal statement was written by William Shakespeare and didn't get accepted. So by the end of the day, your personal statement is a story of your life. Now, some people like to, I've literally seen people writing poetry. I've seen people writing quotes from Marvel movie. I've seen people write, uh, what do you call, Sanskrit saying. I've seen people write something from uh, Gita or Bible or other stuff. So it's there's no right and wrong. If you want to change, you can change. But I'm just saying, just changing SOP is not the issue. What I'm trying to present to you. This is a if you want to go after this, you need to look at it in a multifaceted way. It's not that if you get your personal statement written by another person, next time you should get an invite. That won't be a solution. You need to, it's like your wall has 7 different holes and water is leaking. Yes, there might be a big one, but as of now, because we are standing far away, either the school should give you review, you should be, that's the first thing I said, doc. If you're applying for 3 years, you should be asking for feedback. If you ask 9 school, maybe one of them might give you a feedback. And you need to go after various things and try to improve each of them, and upon which personal statement could be one of them. Does that make sense, doc?
yes, doctor.
I think I would like to add here a personal statement should be is something that you can connect to. A lot of candidates, they do try to outsmart the interviewers, but I would like everyone to know the people who are interviewing you, they're doing it year over year, and every year this is what they're doing in the admission cycle. So you need to have a story that connects. So someone like I'm writing a resume for a personal statement for Adriel. When Adriel would go, he won't do justice to that personal statement. So it should be something that you connect to. It's also
Well,
very important.
well, when it comes to the interview, yes, your paperwork should connect to it. But in her case, she's not getting the interview right now.
Internet.
Right. So in her case, first of all, doc, if I was you, I would find ways to connect to school and get a feedback. Because otherwise, these are human beings sitting outside making assumptions. I might have a little bit more knowledge than a few candidates, but again, I'm not inside the system. What is causing hindrance in your application, you actually need to knock door of the school and find that answer. Does that make sense, Doc?
Right, doctor. Yes.
All right, thank you. All right,
Thank you so much.
your thing. There is Dr. I can't, who raised your hand, Doc? I'm gonna say your name wrong.
Thank you so much for arranging this session. I haven't applied yet so far.
First, how do you pronounce your name? I want to know.
Prarthana.
Sorry?
It's Prarthana.
Oh, acha, okay, got it.
Yeah.
And how do you say the last name?
Chote.
Okay.
Yeah. So I haven't applied for this particular cycle. I'll be applying for the next one. I have recently moved to US on H4 visa. Well, my profile is pretty much similar to what we have been listening to. BDS from India, did my MBA from Australia, did a few years of dental assisting while I was a student there. And after that, I worked in a corporate sector for about 4 years in India. Now, because I got married, I had to move to California state, and my options would be schools in California. Currently, I'm working with uh, Red Cross.
How much is your TOEFL?
I haven't given TOEFL so far.
So first of all, you need to give TOEFL, right? So number one. Number two is your story is not the same. Just to be very careful, like precise about things. You have an exposure of Canadian education system. You have the exposure to Canadian dental assisting. You have the exposure to their corporate system, and you have more diversity on your sleeve than an average Indian who's coming from India. So
Okay.
get the story. The number one factor is when you said your story is the same, it's not. It puts you in a very different league because not many Indians are going to Australia and then coming back to California. So that's one thing I'll tell you. Now, to explain more, number one, Doc, this is people find it very rude, but I tell them one problem at a time. Your problem is to score 115 in your TOEFL. You should be, because if you studied in Australia, you must have given IELTS a few times, and you should be able to score pretty high in it, in TOEFL. So number one thing, I would say close your doors. Don't do overthink. Don't worry about anything. Go and conquer TOEFL. The word is conquer. I'm not saying go and pass and get some score. Go and conquer it. Why? Because TOEFL is something that will all of a sudden make your story alive. It will put blood into it, a heart into it. When you have 115 and you say, I lived 3 years in Australia and now I live in California, they will look at your TOEFL and say, wow, this person really has learned things from different part of the world. Does that make sense?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
this is how I would go about.
So my question for you would be, I've read a lot of articles, done my research, and come to a few questions. Quick one. So first one, does your visa status really affect the process if you're getting an invite or not? That's my first question. Second would be, since I am not in a financial situation to do a preceptorship because it is expensive, I am still doing an endodontic continuum or short courses, which are in-person workshops. Would that add value to my profile instead of a preceptorship? And third question is, if I am not enrolled in any course and I want to be a part of some research, what would be the best way to go and do or participate in a research project?
Okay, quickly to answer. Number one thing you mentioned that, what was your first question? Sorry, I'm getting old.
Visa. It was she's on
Okay,
H4.
number
I think
one,
that should not affect. Yeah.
the honest answer is every year the government changes, the things changes, the policy changes. During COVID, it was different. Then next year it was different. With the Obama, it was different. With Trump, it's different at the moment. Yes, it can make at a certain level. This year, I've seen more green card holder getting accepted, and then afterward, my Canadian or other F1 people have gotten acceptance too. But is it under your control? No. Can you do something about it? No. So what you will answer, then I will say, I tell this, if you've seen any of my video, draw a line and write two kind of things in two columns. One, things that are beyond your control. Can you change your gender? Can you change your story? Can you change your BDS GPA? No. Can you change your Australian GPA? No. Can you change your visa status by yourself within days? No. Then what can you change? You can change your TOEFL score, your exposure in dentistry, your visitations to school, the way you write your personal statement, and the way you fill in your application, right? So this now puts you in a very practical place. You stop worrying about the things that are in beyond your control, and you start worrying about things that are in your control. Does that answer the first one, Doc?
Yes.
Now, coming to the second one, which you talked about, the financial part, or you were talking, what was the second question? Sorry, Doc.
Since I'm not doing a preceptorship and you have
Yes.
mentioned times,
Well, if Hayes, I'll give you a solution. You can do 7 different preceptorship. You can take CE courses, continuum. Understand, every house has a pillar, 4 pillars, and then you have a roof. The roof might have a chimney, might have pretty colors and light on it. The preceptorship, the continuums, the all the blah 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 are the roof and the colors and the chimneys. What TOEFL is the pillar of your house. Right now, doctor, you might find this very rude, but in my world, you have not done complete the foundation of your house. If you're worried about preceptorship and continuum, I would forget it. If you score 118, you might not even need a preceptorship. So if you're really worried about your money or your finances, then go and conquer TOEFL, as I said before, because most candidates are unable to score above 115 at the moment. Back when I did it, I had 113. If you go and score 115 and above, you will save a lot of time and thousands of dollars, and you don't have to do a lot of these things, and your profile will all of a sudden raise up to heaven. Does that make sense?
yes, it
So
does.
logically, see, now the point is, I don't have finances, I don't have visa. Well, you have a very good brain and you can use it and score very high TOEFL. It fulfills most of the problem, right? Now, once you given that, once you have the score, trust me, when you have this kind of profile with the masters, with corporate job, with exposure, with dental assisting, with a very good score in TOEFL, and you email school, I want to come for an observership, they will say, okay, let's do a Zoom call. And all of a sudden, you will see people start treating you differently. So most of your problems are in the first answer that we came to.
Okay. Yes.
Does that make sense a little bit, Doc?
Yeah, it
The point
does.
is not to do a lot. The point is to do very minimum and stand out. That's what a smart person does. He doesn't try to learn 50 moves. He learns one move that will finish the job. If I
Right.
have to learn, me and Dr. Shamir discuss it. If I have to learn endo, restorative, prost, implants, sleep dentistry, I would rather learn one big case, how to do Coronex, how to do implant, or how to do molar endo, and make most of my money and go home. Does that make sense? So right now you're trying to learn 70 different things. I'm saying go and fix one thing at a time, and it's not easy. Just to let you know, if it was that easy, there are about 51 people, 50 people up here. Ask them how easy it is in TOEFL to score 115. If you do that, all of these other things will move on the side and you will get in front. So it's all about logically trying to see which, in the start of this video, I said, figure out that one thing that will make the most impact in your life.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, Doc. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm going a little bit fast, but I have
So,
to be cognizant with the time and there will be people. That's why. All right.
sorry to just one quick question. You mentioned that we should be attending conferences so that we have an opportunity to meet people in person. What conferences would you recommend?
There are in California, there's a big, Shamir can tell you, in Midwest, there are, in Chicago, there's ones that happen. These schools have a lot of them. But again, Doc, when you go on a conference, when I used to go there, I'm just telling you, I used to tell, hey, my name is this. I was an oral surgery resident. I did a master's and my TOEFL is this. I'm interested to know your about your program. And I'm not trying not to be a trying to be like not to be arrogant about it, but even the applicants who were standing right in front of me, they would look at me and say, you have a good profile. What I'm trying to say is there are like Greater New York Conference. There's one in California, and Shamir would know the name. There is one in
It's CDA. It's CDA. Usually it happens, I think, in San Francisco. It's a good conference. You can go meet different people, different dentists, I think it would also be a good place where you can make connection, someone from UOP or UCSF, you can
And
meet
these
there
schools
and you
have a
can,
lot of C courses and stuff too. You can
yeah.
look that up. But again, all of this is marketing. First, I'm asking, you're going to have to create a very good product like an iPhone, and then the marketing will become easy for you. Does that make sense, Doc?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Sure thing, Doc. All the best. Yes, Dr. A.
Hi, Dr. Adriel. Hi, Dr. Shami. Thank you for arranging this. I just had a couple of questions regarding UOP. This year in UOP, I'm not sure what happened last year, but this year they want Casper. And I was just wondering, I have a couple of questions. One, how much does a score in Casper determine the interview decision? And second, if we are at the end of the interview asked to ask a couple of questions other than the general questions that we can provide on the internet, what do you think would be the best way to approach that answer?
Okay, so to start with, your first question was about Casper. So I never have given Casper, so Adriel would be appropriate person to answer that question. Now coming to your second question is in end of the interview, if I got that right, they do ask you if you have any questions and what you should ask. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect. Usually I always, whenever in all of my interviews, the first question I've asked them was, what kind of mentorship should I expect? And what do you think about the clinics, the clinic times? Are they more appropriate for especially the international students? And what about the opportunities if you want to go ahead and proceed for a certain specialty that might not be in school? If you want to go to a certain specialty, if you have any interest in going towards any specialty, these kind of questions, mostly related to the school and the clinics. That's what I used to ask. I think that was something the faculty also used to, that was engaging. These were engaging questions where they used to answer eh, about
Okay.
those.
So that's Shami's opinion, and I'm gonna give you a little bit different opinion. Okay. And neither is wrong, neither is correct. You can pick whatever works for you and your personality.
Okay.
Number one, Casper is a personality related exam. I have made some journal video. I have some paid courses you can buy, which prepares you. But Casper pretty much sees your ability to have good emotional intelligence, how to solve problem. You should be scoring in first quartile. Back when I was doing it, Indiana and UCLA had it. Colorado started it, but then they closed it last year. Now, how much you should be doing pretty much, and you are asking how much does it matter? It's multifaceted. It's not just one thing. They look at person in a very well-rounded three-dimensional way. The problem with a lot of candidates is they are trying to solve a problem which is the universe is made a lot of elements. They are trying to figure out one element that answers everything. It doesn't work this way. The same goes up here. They are looking at so many things that you and I can't figure out. They might be looking at your nationality, your experience, your ability to speak, your confidence, your profile. So there are so many things that you and I can't solve. So I tell people, do not try to solve things that you can't. Put it in the uncontrollable part. What you can do is figure out the other part, like uh, figure out the other part where you can figure out the other part where you're gonna do like be good in your Casper, be good in your interview. If there's some schools have bench exam, be good in that. But do not worry how they're gonna process, because by the end of the day, I've been training people for 5 years, actually 6 years, and I got accepted at 4 schools, and I've got rejections too after interview. And one thing I've learned is that you as a human can only go and enjoy and make your best effort. But if you're worried about the result, you're trying to play God. So when I prepare people for interview, I tell them go and enjoy your interview in telling on who you are, and then leave the result to God. All right. Don't try to play God, or don't worry about things that are beyond your control. When you're in that mindset, you will enjoy your interview and you will be more relaxed. Your job is like my job in the interview is that next day they should remember Adriel. That's all I'm gonna do. Whether I get accepted or not, I don't care. And that's the mindset I suggest people. Now, when it comes to the asking questions, I have a little bit different view about it. All right. My view on this is, even if you say, Doc, as of now, I don't have a question, but if I do, I will email you. And I made a separate video on this on YouTube because a lot of candidates try to think that if they will ask a very unique question, the school will start clapping for them. All of a sudden, they will give them an Oscar and say, we will give you admission. And because of this, they try to come up with very unique questions. I say, remember, interview are based over your ability to have conversation. And as a student, if you're a student, doesn't mean that you have to ask everything and you have to answer everything. Your job is to show them as a person that you have good emotional intelligence and you can speak and you're a good team player and a good student. Now, at the end, if they ask you, do you have a question? And you can say, well, as of now, I don't have a question, but if I do, I will email you. That looks reasonably decent because some student gets in pressure that I need to ask question. And one person actually in Colorado ended up asking, what is your passing rate in ADEX? And you know what they said? Why do you care? If it's bad, you won't come. Like they were like, one student actually ended up asking the school, he was asking the professor, what is the rent of the houses near the school? And I was thinking, this is a professor, not a real estate agent. He wouldn't know that. And if you would be far better if you, when you're discussing with them, and they naturally say something which creates curiosity in your brain. If they talk about digital dentistry, if they talk about I'm an endo faculty, if they talk about I have a dog, or in the morning we had crazy weather, in the conversation, if naturally something pops up or there's a question, ask it. But if you're scripting yourself and say, I have a question and I want to ask you, when you do that, who's sharing? Okay. I don't know why, Doc, you're sharing your screen. Okay, maybe I did it. But the point I'm trying to say is try to be natural in your interviews. If you actually visited the place and you found a question during the conversation, otherwise imagine if I tell you a question, there are 50 people listening to it. And imagine all of the 50 or the 40 people, and afterward who will watch the recording will end up repeating it. So your question wouldn't sound natural anymore. Does that make sense, Doc?
Yes, Doc, it does.
Okay,
It does.
sorry, my approach to things is a little bit different at times, but remember, if you were a faculty, you would rather love a candidate who's natural and straight to the point. The problem with immigrants is they think if we will speak more or if we will act nice, we will get admission. These are American people. They want things to be straight to the point, and they want people who are competent and know what they want. All right. So
I do think that's
Doc,
a
just
very good. Yeah, I do think that's a very good approach. You should ask questions, but that should be the right questions. If you just want to just ask a question just because he asked, or and you heard that in another interview they do give you this opportunity. So I don't think just asking any question won't be appropriate. Maybe like Adriel said, I would second that. That's a smart way to go about it.
Dr. Abe, what were you saying, Doc?
I just wanted to ask a follow-up question. Like, I know that there's no particular answer that we can give, but I mean, UOP, is the style of interviewing just a regular conversation, or they also go into like clinical questions and treatment planning? And what would you do if something like this
So,
happens to a
Doc, here's
patient?
the thing. Have you seen a video that I did his interview, and
Yes, Doc.
have you
Yes.
seen that? So,
Yes,
Shamir,
Doc.
can you briefly answer this? Because I think we touched upon this in the video too, but Shamir, if you want to briefly
Yeah,
answer.
it's a general conversation. They won't. I don't think they ask him anything about the clinical questions or anything. It's not a clinical interview. It's just a conversation, as Adriel said. They just want to
Okay,
make
doc.
sure you're a right fit for the school.
So, Doc, here's the thing. I'm going to ask the next question, but just to quickly answer you, what I teach people in the interviews, interview is something that you don't know, but you're the one who's controlling it. As a student, if you talk about residency or if you talk about a C course, they will start asking you about the C course. Wherever you're, so when I went to, if you go to learn motorcycle or skiing, they will teach you wherever your eyes will go, your motorcycle or ski will go. If you're looking at a tree, you will end up hitting a tree. In interviews, if you're worried about clinical and you end up talking about clinical, they will take it to clinical. So be very careful when you're preparing to know where you're leading your interview. If you want to talk about your clinical experience, they will talk about it. If you want to talk about, so be cognizant about your stories. When I train people for interviews, I train them by creating stories out of their life. And especially if somebody is an endodontist right in front of you, and you all of a sudden say, yeah, I love endo because I did some in my internship here. They will say, what kind of endo did you do? Did you do molar endo? Did you use rotary? What were you doing as a sealant? All of a sudden, you open up a can of worm, and now this is their specialty, and they will keep asking you questions. And eventually, if you don't know well enough, you created trouble for yourself. Does that make sense, Doc?
Yes, doc. Completely understand.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Doc. So, Dr. Patel, yes. I'm sorry, guys, if I'm speeding up a little bit, but I'm trying my best to, because each individual is asking multiple questions. And I know there are a lot of people I want to answer, but sorry for my speed and going fast. That this is how my life is these days. Okay. Yes, Dr.
Mhm.
Patel.
Hello, Dr. Adriel and Dr. Shamir. Thank you so much for conducting this session. My question is, how much do letter of recommendations really matter? What kind of weightage does that hold?
So, Doc, there's no number to it. It's just a part. It's just how much is your liver important. I wouldn't have a, like, it's a system, right? It's a body. There's a heart, there's a brain. If I say your heart is your personal statement and your basic fundamental are your exams, letter of recommendation, you won't get accepted without one. So they are important. But again, remember, personal statement or supplemental application is your responsibility how you write. If you made a grammatical mistake, it's your mistake. You're, as a candidate, your English is weak. But in the letter of recommendation, as long as they sign it and they put the
Okay.
date, that's not directly your problem if they wrote an A wrong or the wrong or something like that, right? But they are important. They should be done carefully and they should be done timely. But I, as of my experience, don't have a fixed percentage of things to put in on them.
Okay. But I have one more question. Would you recommend us getting letters of recommendations from people who, we've partnered or volunteered with at the different,
So it
Mission of
depends.
Mercy
Yes,
programs?
I made several videos on letter of recommendation. I got one of my letter from a professor who was the Mission of Mercy CFO, and he also was my accounting professor. So I pick a person who was, I was able to, you can say, kill two birds with one stone. So he talked about my accounting like as a student and then also as a volunteer. And there are some schools like Indiana and some other schools who prefer to get LORs from non-profit organization.
Okay. Okay. Understood. Thank you, Doctor.
Sure thing. All
Okay,
right.
perfect. I am about to leave. If anyone has any more questions, please let me know.
All right. Thank you, Shamir. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you guys. Good luck, and you guys will make it. Just stay consistent and listen to this guy.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you guys. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, doctor.
Okay. Thank you. So what other questions you guys have? If anybody, okay, somebody message me that I have a question. Please share something about a feedback in life. Should we talk about positive or negative feedback, importance of feedback in life? So, guys, what happens in interviews, they will ask you that how they will ask you, tell us about a failure in life, or tell us about a time when you dealt with a criticism, or you failed in something, or you made a mistake. Now, the wording sound different, but what they are trying to see is how much self-aware you are to talk about your weakness and how you are as a person. People in psychology who have very big egos and are internally not strong enough, they can never talk about their weakness. So they will ask you one way or another to ask about setback, failure, weakness. I would suggest setback is a failure. If somebody say, tell me about a setback in your life or a failure in your life, it means the same thing. I would say, yes, there have been time of setback. And I remember I was in my biochemistry exam and I was also part of my basketball team. And during the tournament, I was not able to study enough and I failed the exam. And it was very disappointing. But one of the things that failure taught me is that I need to be disciplined. I need to prioritize my study. And once I have done my study, then I should focus on my sports. Now, you can talk about any failure. It could be clinical, it could be an exam, it could be TOEFL. What they are listening to is not your failure, but they are listening to what you learned from that failure. You can have a setback where you had an accident from before the exam. Some people I've heard health issues, something like that. So the point is not that you had a accident and you had some kind of physical illness. The point is, what did that illness or accident taught you in life, and how does that make you a stronger candidate or a stronger person? Does that make sense, guys? Does that make sense? I can repeat if anybody.
Yes, doctor. Thank you for answering my question. Thank
Sure.
you.
There's a video on the YouTube where I talked about failure. That should help you in detail. That remember, they will ask you about weakness or failure. Just remember, talk about it in 5%, 10%, and rest of the 90% focus on what did you learn from it and how it improved you. All right. Now, the next question somebody asks, if due to some personal reason, if you were not able to travel to US school to attend the CE courses, attending the CE courses online, yeah, if you can't do one in person, at least you tried online. So at least something is better than nothing. Okay, somebody asked, may I be able to work as a DA due to... So if you can't work, remember, if you can't work as a paid DA, you can work as an unpaid DA. If you don't have a work authorization, doc, you can always say that I've been working as a dental assistant, I've been performing duties as an unpaid DA, right? That shows that at least your visa did not allowed you to make money, but you were doing the responsibilities. And if you get a letter of recommendation, that could back it up. And you should still do an FDA. Yes, do an FDA school. If you can afford it, go for it, doc. Short. Okay. What other questions you guys have for me?
Doc, there's one question. It says, does submitting early application help? Probably that's what I see. And I had the same question, if you could answer.
What question do you have?
Submitting an early application, does that make...
This is where I would say watch. For you, doc, because you're at an early phase, I would encourage you to watch the earlier videos I made. So this is my ultimate statement that I say you have to apply early. This is like I always say it. But for you, especially, doc, watch all those videos because I know you're starting at an early point. There are a lot of things I'm not saying right now because I've already said it and some people have been watching those videos. But I would definitely suggest watch the earlier videos, and I say this every time, and it's good I can repeat it, but you need to apply early. That's very important.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll watch the videos.
Sure. Yes, Dr. A.
Doc, I had a question. Even if we are not authorized to work, do you think getting a registered DA license, or like in any state, does that add to your profile, even though you will not be able to?
The answer is yes.
Okay.
Okay. What other questions you guys have?
Dr. Adriel, I'm Pranavi. I have a question which was similar to the ones they earlier asked, but in my case specifically,
The dentist I work with is gracious enough to let me work as an assistant, though the role which I am assigned to do is a healthcare coordinator. Given my background, he was okay to let me do that. So should I be mentioning that as a volunteer DA, or how should I do that? It is a bit confusing for me here.
So you're not getting paid and you're working as a dental assistant, you said?
Initially, I did it like that, but later on, he said, "You gotta work because I have a master's in health informatics. I can work as a treatment coordinator."
Doc, if you
So,
keep it simple, if you can mention in your profile that you work as a dental assistant, again, I'm not telling you to lie. It's up to you and
mhm,
in your doctor. If
mhm.
he says you're a treatment coordinator and it has to be treatment coordinator, then it is what it is. But if I was you, I would rather prefer to work right or get it sent as a dental assistant. Now, I won't tell you what to do. I just told this is what I would do.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you so
Cool.
much.
All right. What other questions you guys have? No more question, guys. If anybody has a, so what happens usually, guys, the reason I was speaking so fast is because throughout the week I get a lot of questions and I request people, due to my time limitation, family issues, like I'm going through, like, do pray for me. I'm just working like 60, like, I don't know, 70, 80 hours a week. I'm just running like crazy. And I tell people, when I'm going to do a Q&A session, you're more than welcome to ask questions and I'm going to try to answer you, because using screen all day already, I got these glasses because I've been using too much phone and everybody texts me and it gets difficult. But right now, I'm more than happy to answer if you have any questions.
Hello, Doc. I have a question.
Yes, Falk.
This is Devanshu. As you mentioned before, that on the resume, do not put any office manager or any manager post. Instead, put
So
dental
here,
assistant experience. So I just wanna, yes.
no, go ahead.
Okay. So I just wanna walk you through my experience, what I have done at my dental office. So basically, I started as a dental assistant. I was not getting paid, and eventually, as of the short staff, and I became experienced at that office. My dentist insisted me to like take over the office management, and she made me an office manager. And my background is master in healthcare administration, so I took that opportunity to complete my internship within my curriculum while working as a dental assistant and an office manager. Should I mention both of my roles, or should I just mention dental assistant?
So I'm not, Doc, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not going to tell you to lie. I just told you a general principle. The schools prefer DAs, clinical assistants over front desk. That's what I'm saying. I'm not telling you what to do. That's not my job. I'm not telling you to lie. Do whatever you have to do. I'm just telling you that it's better to do clinical work than to do managerial work.
Yes, that's what I did. I actually wrote my dental assistant experience for 2
Again,
years,
Doc,
and then
I'm not.
for the three.
Listen, Doc. This is being recorded, and I'm not telling you what to do. I just told you that the school prefer what? The school prefer more clinical work. Now, what you do and what you not to do, that's not my area to discuss in a public platform. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Understand now. Thank you.
All right. Now, what other questions you have for me, guys? Is there any questions, guys, before we... Okay, somebody asked, you mentioned about TOEFL score. Yes, 114 is better than a lot of people. A lot of people. If you can keep getting higher and higher, it will make things more sweeter. Being at 114 is better than other. Yeah, it's way above average.
Hi, Doctor. My name is Leelama. I did apply to 2 cycles, but did not succeed. my profile is that I completed my. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, I'm listening, Don.
Okay. Yeah, I completed my BDS in 2010, and I worked in India for almost 8 years, out of which 2.8 years I worked as a lecturer, and the rest is clinical experience. Then I came to Canada, and I'm right now in Canada. Here I worked as a dental assistant for 1.5 years, and my TOEFL score is 111. I applied to only 7 schools last cycle and this cycle, but haven't succeeded yet. I'm asking this question to know if it is appropriate for me to apply to Colorado because it's opening
I think you
this
should.
month.
I think you should. Have
Okay,
you
doctor.
seen the video I made on Colorado? So I made a video recently on my channel where I talked about signing up. They have a virtual tour happening. If you haven't yet, that video in the description has a link. They were doing a virtual tour. I don't know if they still have available seats. Attend those, but if I would apply. I do, and if you need help with the personal statement, with supplemental application, with letter of recommendation, whether for Colorado or for any other school, you can always reach out to me, and I can let you know the prices. Just to let you know, like people who need help with the personal statement, I charge $600 at the moment, and the way I work is I write a rough draft for them for the first paragraph, and I send it to them to take a look. If they approve it and they want certain changes, they can write it to me, send it to me. They send it back to me. Then I finish the whole personal statement and I send it back to them. And then they can, if they want certain changes, they can write it down and email it back to me. And it takes about 10 to 15 days to get this done. All right. Any other questions you guys have? Somebody's asking, is it too late to apply to Boston? I will tell you in all honesty, I applied on October 20th and they did not review my application. When I called them, they told me that you applied at the tail end of it. Better luck next time. That was my experience. I'm not going to tell you what to do. It's totally up to you, but this is what happened to me 5 years ago. But Colorado, I applied and I got accepted. All right. Any other question, guys? I'm more than happy to answer. What happens is, as soon as I finish this call, I get messages of more questions, and I'm thinking like, why didn't you ask me before? So I'm more than happy to answer any questions for you guys. Okay. There's no questions. So guys, if you need help with personal statement, with letter of recommendation, with any writing stuff, I do provide services. There are some people every year that I do fellowship program. I'm a little bit picky. So my fellowship program, I wish I could name it better, but the fellowship program is actually where I work with candidates throughout the whole process, writing their personal statement with resume, with letter of recommendation, preparing them for Casper, interview prep, supplemental applications, with pretty much everything for all the schools they are applying. And I work with you until you get accepted. But I don't prepare you for physical bench exam. You have to prepare on your own. I prepare you for Kira, MMI, all the other things. I work with you until you get accepted. It might take 3 months, it might take a year, whatever time it takes, I work with you. Couple of things that I'll tell you, it's expensive. I charge 5,500 for it, but it can be done in payment plan. You don't have to pay the whole thing. You can pay in increments. But the other thing along with that is I'm a little bit picky with the people I work because you need to have a good certain level of good profile. Because I've started working with people who had not passed their TOEFL or don't have good exam, but then I'm stuck with that. So I do look at people, I look at their profile, their personality type, if we can work along, because sometimes it requires a lot of patience. It's a lot of headache to work with me. And back and forth, there's a lot of rejection, disappointment, but that's how we work. Okay. Any other question, guys? All right. I hope this helped you. I'm sorry I sped up things because I have another call at 8. But hopefully at the end of September, I will do another call and I will do another Q&A session. We'll keep it on Sunday, and I'll post it on my Instagram. I'm grateful and I thank you to all the people who attend this, who ask questions. At time I can be very fast and very straight to the point, but trust me, just truly appreciate what you guys are like. At times would reach out to me. A lot of people tell me feedback. It really makes a difference in my life too. Like I feel people say like, "Oh, thank you for doing this for the candidates," but I feel I'm investing in a universe that gives me back a lot too in different ways, not just money. It's just I get a lot of blessings out of that too. So I do appreciate it. But at times, if my demeanor looks very straight to the point, it's just when I have to tackle 300 people every day, it just I have to keep things a little bit faster. Otherwise, most probably I'll get divorced next day. So it's just part of my responsibilities with families and stuff like that. All right. So all the best, guys. If you have any questions, well, you can always reach out to me. And otherwise, if you have journalized questions, you can ask me in the next Q&A. Take care, guys. All the best.
Thank you, Doc.
Sure. Bye.